Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? I didn't mean to do that. Please, continue.
There's a lot of things about me you don't know anything about, Daddy. Things you wouldn't understand. Things you couldn't understand. You don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
And the Holy Spirit spoke to me. The gift of faith came on me. He said, kick her in the face with your biker boot.
What you talking about, Will?
You're a cheat and a swindler. That's what you are.
Now, let me talk to the young people here. You are prey, P-R-E-Y, for these churches. Brand new believers, pray for these churches. P-R-E-Y. It's sexy. It's cool. Calvinism, man. Because I got God in a box.
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
The gospel's not something we live. It is an announcement of what God has done in Christ through the cross by grace to give eternal hope to those who have faith in Him.
Please, continue.
This is a Rebels Cause Radio with Jonathan Wedgeworth and your host, the tattooed freak of a man, Dan Fry.
That is right. This is a Rebels Cause Radio. That is also wrong. This is not Dan Fry. This is John Wedgeworth, not Jonathan either. In the studio today, I have Noah Brayman, and I have someone who I don't recognize. Someone with no chance. That was a terrible move on your part, by the way. Strategically,
I think it looks
logistically.
Great. I got the great mustache. You know, somebody just compared me to the actor from My Name is Earl.
Jason Lee.
Sure. I don't know what his name is.
His name is Jason Lee. Now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
Go Joe?
G.I. Joe.
No, it's Go Joe.
It's G.I. Joe.
It's not Go G.I. Joe. It's Go Joe.
The real American hero.
Yeah. Right. I watched enough of the cartoon to know that it's not Go G.I. Joe. It's Go Joe.
Oh, you're talking about the line afterwards. Of course it's Go Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
I don't think you did like 20 seconds ago. I'm pretty sure you were just arguing with me about it.
I thought you were mistaken about the name of the show.
No, I understand that it is G.I. Joe.
Okay, good.
Well, I think the facial hair looks good.
You know, I kept the mustache. I'm going to try to hide behind the mustache. You know, if I didn't have this double chin, it wouldn't
be as bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it, but
with no hair on your chin and only the giant mustache, it looks like the only chin you have is the double chin. So you have a single chin.
No, it's just definitely two chins. There's one right here, and then there's this one. And you know, it doesn't help that that it's not really clean shaven, because I didn't. Once I got it down to this far, I thought I'm going to stop now so that I can have a beard back in a week or so. So, you know,
it's very appropriate that we have women on the show with us tonight, because they balance out some of this facial hair.
I thought about taking some of my back hair and just kind of gluing it on. But at that point, I thought, well, if I was going to do that, I could just pick up the facial hair from the floor and do it. And then I was like, yeah, let's just forget about it.
Okay, well, thanks for tuning into a Radio.
Forget about it.
I think we just lost the cause tonight. Well, we do have a special guest over Skype. And actually, I saw the Skype feed. We have several guests. We have several representatives from 2 Crazy Ladies and Their 13 Babies. Ryan, will you bring them on?
13 babies?
Are the children with them?
Hello. Hello, everyone.
That is a lot of people.
So, would you guys kind of go around the room and identify yourselves, and also forgive us in advance? There's no way we're going to remember all the names.
I'm not even going to try.
Yes. Well, I'm Bridget, and I have 6 of the babies. This is the oldest, Austin, right here.
Hello.
I'm Faith. And the rest of them are sitting quiet, eating Kentucky Fried Chicken here in Kentucky to keep quiet.
And then I'm Rossi, and I have 7 kids. My oldest is here, Gabrielle.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle, and I'm 14.
Hello, Gabrielle, and 14.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Abraham here, back here.
I'm Abraham, and I'm 13.
Landon. Landon, you want to come say hi? We have someone special to say hi to you.
What in the world?
It's one of those blue suit things.
So has anyone reacted to the Blue Man at Kentucky Fried Chicken in Kentucky? By the way, that's got to be the best place to have KFC, right?
Yes. Hi. And a couple of them are going to say hi, but that's Sarah and Finley and Fallon. So,
And they keep coming.
Well, there's 13 of them.
Yes,
That's awesome.
There's a lot of them, though.
Love it. Hi.
well, that's
So, so why don't you guys tell us a little bit about how you got this together? And I also understand some of you guys are from Montana, some of you guys are from California. Who's from where and where in Montana, where in California?
That's like 6. Ask one question, John.
No, they're all, you can answer them in sequential order.
Yeah, because they're not going to remember that. It's like giving you 13 kids' names.
Okay, so let's start with the easy ones. Who's from Montana and who's from California?
I'm from Montana. My family's from Montana. We live 40 miles south from the Canadian border.
Okay.
Nice. How often do you guys get across the border?
how often do you go across?
We have never gone across the border. You have to have a passport to be able to get across the border, and we don't have time for that. And nor do we have the money for 13 kids.
I suppose,
I get 7.
I suppose that'd be a lot. So where are you guys from in California?
Well, my family's, right now we're located about 30 minutes outside of Temecula, California.
Okay.
Outside of the wine country.
Okay.
And you guys aren't in California right now, though, right?
No, they're in Kentucky, eating Kentucky Fried Chicken in Kentucky.
No, but that can't
what
be.
What
are they doing?
Maybe we should ask the question instead of getting where they're from. What are they actually doing? What's the goal of this?
That was
road
the next
trip?
question in queue, Dan.
Okay, well, I'm asking it. I'm curious. You're taking forever.
Take it away.
So what exactly are you? Is this 2 crazy ladies and 13 kids, or is that right? I'm not sure I'm saying the name of their website.
13 babies.
13 babies. Yeah.
That's okay. We decided to meet. We're from California and they're from Montana, and we met in Colorado and took off in a 15-passenger van. I left my van at a relative's house, and we took off, and we are now in Kentucky, and we've been out for about 8 days. Our main goal is to share the gospel and keep a mission mind attitude throughout the whole thing. We're stopping at abortion mills, we're stopping at homeless shelters, running into people at gas stations. Wherever we are, we're trying to share the gospel.
So what would a stop look like then?
What's that?
Just kind of run me through a typical visit in a town. I mean, what would these stops look like?
Very busy. Very busy. We have been nonstop, some days going off of a couple hours of sleep and getting up and going to an abortion clinic and ministering there for a few hours, and then try to squeeze in a field trip or two for the kids. The kids are the ones who plan this whole trip. So, and then ending with, what did we end with the other day? We did.
Well, they're homeschooled, so we have taken on a life learning approach to homeschooling. So whatever they do is they're learning how to set up tents, to strapping down things on the car, to directions. Austin here is 14. He's our navigator. He tells us when to turn right, when to turn left. And Gabrielle is our PR department. Faith is our journalist. She's journaling. And Abraham is our statesman. We have, everybody has a job on board the bus, and we've been traveling to friends' homes and fellowshipping along the way and encouraging moms who homeschool as well. And it's just been busy. Our schedule is packed full. Yes, we've gone 3,000 miles in 8 days and have gone to many different things, from Nashville bars handing out tracts to abortion mills. So
when you say an abortion mill, what's that?
An abortuary, an abortion clinic.
Okay, abortion clinics. And then also, is there? Where's the blog? If we wanted to look at the journals.
Well, we don't really have a blog connected to this.
Oh, okay.
we just kind of made up a funny hashtag and just went with it. And so,
So it's on a Twitter
Yeah.
account?
Facebook.
Oh.
Yes, we're using a hashtag on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Okay,
And
so if
it's
we
just a whole bunch. It's just a whole bunch of people using that hashtag, and then you can go and see what we're doing.
what's that hashtag?
2 crazy ladies and their 13 babies.
That's appropriate, I guess.
It's not a short hashtag.
Yeah.
But no, I've seen. I mean, I followed the hashtag, and it looks like there's quite a bit of activity on it. But let me ask you this: what kind of feedback, what kind of responses have you been getting from people in general about this? I personally think it's a really neat idea. I mean, especially when you have homeschool kids, so you're not taking them out of school. You're giving them a real kind of immersive life lesson doing this. But I'm sure you've had a lot of supportive voices. I'm sure you've had some detractive voices. Can you tell me some of the more interesting things that you've received from this?
Well, first thing I want to start out with is give a shout out to our husbands. Hi, Justin. Hi, Bill. They have been the support behind this idea. The kids had this idea back in February, and as a homeschool moms, we wanted to support them and teach them how to share what we're training them for at home. We wanted to be able to go out into the real world and show them sin in its reality. And we find that more is caught than taught. And so they're seeing firsthand. And this is my son Austin has been open air preaching at the abortion clinics, and all the kids have been evangelizing at gas stations wherever we go. So they are getting hands-on training.
Excellent. Well, what kind of, and I guess I'll repeat the question, what kind of feedback have you guys been getting from this? Supportive, detractive? What kind of things have you run into? And I don't mean the people who come up and heckle the street preaching, but I mean like 13 kids across the country. That's really got to kind of draw some attention. What kind of feedback have you guys gotten from that?
We get a little bit of everything. There's a lot of support and a lot of, moms. Maybe, one of our goals is to be able to encourage other mothers and as homeschool moms and homeschool families, that it's doable. And, so we do have a lot of feedback that's good, and people asking questions and moms asking questions, and how do we do this, and how do we go about training our kids up in the Lord, and making education and evangelism and all those key aspects that we need to be practicing in life, how to make those reality. And so we get a lot of that good feedback. But then there's also that, ones that maybe feel like we're these independent women taking our kids across the country, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. It worked out that, we were able to do this, and we had our husband's complete backing, and someday we'd like to come and bring them along with us. But for this trip, we planned it in a 3-week time period and raised all the money, and moms helped a little bit. And so we get a little of both. And one of the probably the worst feedbacks come when taking the kids to the abortion mills. That's a hard thing for some people to swallow, I think, sometimes.
So I got a question. What's the youngest kid there?
My daughter, my youngest one, Joelle Marie, is 2.
2. And so, and do you have a lot of them in that kind of younger category? I mean, I saw a couple teenagers there, but are there a lot of them that are under 10?
Yes.
Okay. How do you explain to those children what an abortion mill is, just out of curiosity?
For our family, it is second nature. I started taking my children there very young, and so it was pretty second nature to them. And we always talk about them. We regroup after and talk about what went on, and they know, not in full detail, the older ones do, but they do know that the sin and yeah.
And ours is the same. We grew up. We have abortion happened in our family, unfortunately, but God used that, and so we've also, and the kids have known since a very young age what happens and what it is. And yeah, the younger ones are just sensitive to the sanctity of life and how we need to cherish and respect life, even in the womb. And so even though they don't know, some of the graphic details, they do know what happens. And
so you guys, you started in Colorado. Where are you going? And like, what date do you intend to be there by?
Well, so far we started in Colorado and we drove across Kansas to Missouri. We met a friend there. We went down through Arkansas to Nashville and went out to a abortion mill out there with a friend from Cities for Life that my family's involved in. Then we drove over to South Carolina and we spent some time with another friend from Cities for Life. Then right now we are in Kentucky and we're on our way to another abortion mill with some more friends from Cities for Life. And after that, then we're going from there back to Colorado. So the end date was planned to be the 24th, but we don't really know when that will happen because anything could happen.
We're
So
flying
then-
by the seat of our pants.
Sure.
Did you have a Kickstarter campaign then that you raised the money with? Or what? How did you raise the money?
Go ahead. We did anything and everything we could. We cleaned houses and cleaned out yards and even lemonade and sold at craft fairs, and we just did anything and everything that we could to raise money in 3 weeks.
The kids really wanted to raise the money. So extra donations, there were a lot of people that donated a little extra money. And so that money is going towards meals for homeless. When we go and visit homeless shelters, we'll bring groceries with us or packing little, we call them lunches of love for homeless that we might meet along the street and be able to minister to. And so that donation money will go towards that. The kids raised all of the money by working, and they didn't want to take any money that would be used towards the trip for our expenses. They just wanted to make sure to work for it. So they worked really hard to be able to do all of this.
And I think that's really great too, that you have, this is another lesson that you've kind of taught the kids, to kind of ground source this thing on their own and do the majority of the organizing all by themselves. Now I know that your travels are going to take you to Iowa. I'm assuming at some point you're going to be here in Des Moines. When are you guys anticipating? Now I know that it's by the seat of your pants, not everything is set in stone, but when are you guys anticipating being here?
Well, we're leaving Kentucky the 19th, and we'll be up in by Chicago the 20th. So we should be around Iowa the 21st and 22nd.
Okay, so Monday and Tuesday then.
Yeah.
Are you planning to do any picketing? Is not really the word. Protesting at the abortion clinics here in Iowa?
Yes.
Do you know which ones? Just out of curiosity.
We're not sure if we are. We have connections with a lot of different mills across the country with Cities for Life. So we like to stand with people we know, so they know the laws and the city codes.
Sure.
Like we're safe. We really don't know anybody in Iowa that stands. Unfortunately, there's a lot of abortion mills around the country that nobody stands in front of that have thousands of churches around them. So we hope to bring awareness and wake up the church as well.
Now, speaking of church, that's a question I've been waiting to ask. Where do you guys find churches locally where you are? Where do you guys work in church? What kind of? I'm asking a bunch of questions again. How do you guys work church into all this?
Where do we work church into?
Oh, well, you mean as far as visiting churches, or?
Yeah, I think you were talking about
visiting churches, keeping up your weekly worship while you're traveling.
Keeping up your weekly worship. Where do we weekly worship? I can't hear him. Can you answer? Oh, can you answer? I can't hear.
Well, whenever we can, I guess. I mean, we weren't able to make it to church this last Sunday because we were driving.
We
Yeah, we were driving in the middle of nowhere, basically, and but we did do a Bible study in the car. And
We try to do those every day.
yeah, and then we sang some hymns off of the phones. So
kind of an impromptu quasi church. Okay.
What is your church? I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what's your church backgrounds back at home? Where do you guys go to church? Are you guys of the same denomination, or are you guys coming from different denominational backgrounds doing this?
well, we are both coming as we are both Reformed, both Reformed families, and we come from Reformed churches.
There's your
Okay. John's waiting for more of an answer.
It looked like someone was about to say something, and I didn't want to cut. When we talk over Skype, it cuts you guys off completely. So you guys led me to believe there would be more.
So then, when you guys have gone out, then have you done reach out to the local churches and the communities where the mills are where you're going, and tried to get some people to come alongside you? I mean, it sounds like you have with Cities for Life. You've kind of got some connections that way, but have you reached out to local churches where you're going? And you said you've connected with families. You've been encouraging some mothers and homeschooling families as well. How has your connections been with local churches where you go?
Well, to be honest, we haven't really met with any local churches. We are very pressed for time, but we have been talking to people that are in contact with local churches, sending letters to local churches, telling them to get involved and to fight on the sidewalk for life, to stand up for the sanctity of life.
Right. Well, when you get to one of the abortion clinics, so walk us through what you do. You get there, you've got your whole family. You got both your families. You get there, you set up a sign, or do you just start introducing yourself to people? One of you starts doing a devotional or read from scripture. Just walk us through what you do when you get your boots on the ground right there.
Well, we give the kids sidewalk chalk to keep them busy, and they'll draw little babies on the side. Those are for the younger ones. Maybe the middle-aged ones will hold signs that say things like, your baby's heart is beating, or Mama, choose life. And then the older ones will, my son will street preach sometimes, and he will call out to men. He'll talk to fathers bringing in their girlfriends or wives. And some will be interceding on behalf when they're seeing me or Rossi talking to women that are going in. But it is very busy. You can get up to 30 women going in to kill their babies at a time. So within a couple hours. And
okay, well, I hate to cut that off. We are going to be going to break here in a minute. This is a Rebels Cause Radio. Stick with us to the other side of the break, and we'll be back.
This is Dan Fry, host of A Rebels Cause Radio, and I'm here to ask you a question. Are you tired of being marketed a second-rate product at a first-rate price? Or perhaps more importantly, do you want to wear something that shows who you are, which is a Christian, but doesn't look silly or even worse, just theologically incorrect? I want to introduce you to Wrath and Grace Clothing. They're a company that wants to provide you with clothes that you actually like, prices you can afford, and most importantly, they offer a sound biblical message that represents who you are as a Christian. From the message presented in the graphics to the fit and finish, they have made their company on first-rate designs and high-quality fabrics and inks, and offered at a price you can afford. Wrath and Grace Clothing. Their mission is to proclaim the wrath and the grace of a sovereign God, one shirt at a time. Go to wrathandgrace.com to check out all their designs. That's wrathandgrace.com.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
See them here, see them there. You got bad credit? We don't care.
Visit emetroford.com for your guaranteed credit approval. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. Everybody drives with guaranteed credit approval at emetroford.com. Visit emetroford.com today.
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places. Especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart. And it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent.
We know that there are a lot of great radio shows that you can be a fan of, but there is only one that's certified organic, free range, and cage-free. Just like that hippie chicken you ate for dinner. This is a Rebels Cause Radio.
Speaking of hippie chickens, we have our guests at Kentucky Fried Chicken in Kentucky. I mean, that's like, how providential is that?
I'm pretty sure, though, they're not eating hippie chicken. I would bet dollars to donuts that KFC does not use any kind of organic anything.
Well, it might not even really be chicken, come to think
I have
of it.
heard that if you walk by the Colonel's grave, there is regularly a little chicken and a little biscuit.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
in
weird.
Louisville. There you
Did he die? He was old when he started it, so otherwise I think he probably would have died young eating his own.
Do you think he choked to death on chicken? I mean...
No.
That was a terrible joke. That was awful, John. John, get back to the interview. Get back to the interview.
Here we are.
Goodness
Okay,
gracious.
so picking up with our interview, we have several of the people from 2 Crazy Ladies and Their 13 Babies, and I did say up front that I wouldn't be able to keep track of everyone's name, so I apologize for that. But let's bring them back on, and for the rest of our time together, I kind of just wanted to broach the subject of evangelism, because I know that's something that's really huge in what you guys are doing. I know that visiting the abortuaries is a big thing, but even that is an evangelistic outreach. So talk to me a little bit about how you understand evangelism, what your evangelistic approach is, and go from there.
Well, it depends on the person. Sometimes we'll use presuppositional apologetics. Other times we go straight to the gospel through the Ten Commandments, following 4 points. Who God is the one that they're accountable to. Man is a sinner. Jesus is the Savior, and that they need to respond to that by repentance and belief in Christ.
Okay, walk me through this, the being a sinner part. Let's say I'm not a believer. Okay, what's the sin thing you're talking about?
Well, for instance, for a simple conversation, it would go kind of like, have you ever told a lie? Yes, they're a liar. Have you ever stolen anything regardless of its value? Yes, they're a thief, and so on and so forth. And we go through a couple of the Ten Commandments, and it shows them that they're sinners, and it makes them self-admit it, so that then we tell them that if God were to judge them by the commandments, that then they would be guilty and sentenced to hell unless they repent and believe.
Okay, so basically, Way of the Master then is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, kind of like a Ray Comfort thing.
Yeah. I take it you guys are fans of Wretched Radio. Okay. So, all right. So, and
you said you also mix that up with precept. Let's think here for a second. What happens though when you have somebody that says, "Okay, I'm a sinner," and they don't care and they still want to go into the mill? What do you do there? Do you have a plan for that, or is that where you start praying, or kind of go through that scenario?
Well, when they're just being ignorant to their sins, after that, it's kind of hard to go into it, because before that, you usually had either, depending on how the conversation went, if you had done the Ten Commandments first, when they say that, look, I don't really care, I don't need God, that's when you would use the precept. Or if it's backwards and they don't care for God, and then you use the gospel, and they're still ignorant to that, it's kind of hard to keep going if they're not going to care, if they don't care what you say.
Sure. So, have you guys had anybody turn around and leave yet, or has it been kind of one of the, what results have you had thus far, if any? And we're not judging you by your results. I want to be real clear about that. That's not up to you.
Well, we hand out a lot of tracts, and the worst thing they can do is decline it, and that happens quite often. But like when I'm talking at the abortion mill, I'll be talking to people and they won't talk back, but every once in a while they'll come back and say, you guys are giving Christians bad names, talking like that. You should really go back to where you came from and just go back to your church and start praying. And while they go right in like it's no big deal. And,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's really bad argumentation on their part too, by the way. But okay, well, listen, tell our listeners again where they can find you, and how they can support you.
Well, we set up a Facebook page. It's 2 Crazy Ladies and Their 13 Babies, which you can go to that. You can like it and follow us on our trip. We also have the hashtag, like I told you, and we also have our blogs, which we have not blogged yet on our trip, but we have blogged before that, and you can go back to that, and we will be blogging again pretty soon.
Yeah, because we're kind of, it'd be kind of neat to see the journal entries.
What's the website for the blog?
Oh, the names for the blogs are, he has a blog. It's called Prepare Yourself.
It's prepareyourself1 at .blogspot.com.
And will these be available on your Facebook page? Will people be able to find them on your Facebook page if they go there? Because that's probably going to be easiest.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll direct people to your Facebook page. We're going to put a link up on our Facebook page for you guys, so if people are interested or want to see more about it or learn more about it. Is this one of many trips that you guys are planning, or is this kind of a one-shot deal? Or
well, being as fun as it is, I think we're going to try to make this an annual thing, hopefully.
Excellent. Different routes each time, I imagine.
Yes.
Okay.
And if the dads are watching, yes, we're already starting for next year.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, listen, thank you guys very much for coming on. Like Dan said, we'll put links up on everything. Is there anything you guys want to say before we let you go? Any kind of parting words for us and our listeners?
We are so excited to be able to do this, and we're humbled, and we just want to make sure that we're encouraging. Evangelism and going to the mills and doing all of that is great, but mainly we want to raise up our kids in the Lord, and we want them to seek out truth, and we want to be able to speak out in truth, and we also want to encourage other homeschool moms to do the same. And sometimes it feels overwhelming, and I know it has for me. This has been a change in the last few years. I've homeschooled since the beginning, but in the last few years we've really changed things, and so we just want to encourage moms that are questioning or having a hard time, families that are homeschooling that are struggling, just to keep pushing on. And Bodie Bauckham has said something great that I love, and that is keep pour into your children, and when you run out of things to pour in, keep pouring and finding truth and digging into Scripture alone, and making sure that you're testing everything and your kids that way. So that's it. We just want to be an encouragement and hopefully challenge and inspire others to do the same.
Excellent. Well, God bless you guys, what you're doing. Safe travels the rest of the way. We'll be keeping an eye on it. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right,
So
well, we're
2
getting
crazy
ready.
ladies and 13 kids,
yeah.
or babies. There it is.
Yeah, we'll have the. We're gonna have to have the link on Facebook. John, take us out, buddy.
All right, guys. Well, we'll be back in a couple minutes. This is a Rebels Cause Radio.
Request the honor of your presence.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershide.
I'm administrative manager
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though, I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
Don't just sit there, get involved. This is a Rebels Cause Radio.
Children, we're back on the air.
Look, I watched Karate Kid Karate Kid 2 over the weekend, so.
Karate Kid 2.
Yeah.
So that's what you mean by not just sitting there
Isn't
getting
that's
involved.
where he goes to Japan, doesn't he?
He goes to Japan.
He kicked over the TV.
That thing's the bomb. I like that show.
No. Dan kicked over his TV. He wasn't just sitting there. He got involved.
No, I didn't kick over any TV. First of all, maybe I was watching it on the theater screen.
Oh, okay, brag up. Here's a
So-
chance for you to brag.
It's not braggable. I made my own home theater.
Oh, no, that's not bragging.
It's like in the backyard, and there's a sheet on the fence.
It's actually, you know what it is? It's actually, and this is, if you ever buy a projector, this is a handy tip. But if you go to like a fabric store, you can buy the back side of a drapery fabric. It's just white fabric for blackout fabric is what it's called.
Mhm.
And that is what they make a lot of the theater screens out of. So that's what we have. We sewed it. So there's actually less money in my projector system than in most people's TVs. But
You have 109 inches or whatever it is, right?
I do have like 108 inches, yeah.
Or I was close.
Yeah, and that's just side to side. So actually, it's bigger if you do it right.
And where did you get those front and center speakers from?
Oh, amazingly, I knew this guy that worked at this place on Franklin Avenue called Stoggills.
Oh, that's closed now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's closed. And
Oh.
and he I think he stole them.
We'll cut to the chase. He got the speakers from me,
Yeah.
so there's my bragging. This is a Rebels Cause Radio. Thanks for joining us on the air side of the break. We're going to talk about a couple different things.
We wanted to talk about the abortion issue a little bit more because what struck me as we're talking about this, and I was thinking about this week, knowing we were going to have this topic on.
Mm-hmm.
That we just, it is a big issue. I mean, it's one of those things that on this show we've kind of walked away from a little bit. It was something when we first started this show.
Mhm.
We talked about it quite a bit more.
Well, it's a huge topic in our culture with the Hobby Lobby decision.
Yeah,
recently too. I mean,
recently we have that. For me, it's one of those topics that made me more active as a Christian because I sat in my bed thinking about it one morning and went, what would it do? What would it look like if I was actually proactive in my faith? And it was spurned by the idea that, I probably would stand and be one of those crazy people picketing the abortion mills. I just call them clinics. I know they have a lot of terminology
I
for
like
them.
to call them abortuaries. That's the most disparaging
I just like
term of
people
all.
to know what I'm talking about when I'm speaking.
I just didn't know what a mill was.
Yeah.
Like,
I get it. I understand why they
I mean,
call
I know
them.
what a grain mill is.
Yeah.
So there that is.
It's kind of playing on puppy mill, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not even sure what. That's a real
That's
common
not
phrase.
here nor there,
Yeah,
though,
that's
guys.
it.
Yeah.
But it's a big issue. And she pointed out something in Des Moines. We don't have a lot of protesters anymore. Now, at one point,
Did we ever?
Yeah, at
Yeah,
one point.
at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at one point back in the 80s, I protested Planned Parenthood's book sales.
Yeah.
And in front of their main thing, because back in the mid 80s, they only had one office that did abortion. So we protested as a church. In front
You were
of
there with the Bockerts and stuff.
Bockerts and Steve.
Where are
Newton.
there's one down by Mercy, right?
Yeah, and there's actually one 2 doors down from one of my salons.
Oh yeah, down by Drake.
Yeah. So there's that one. I don't know what services they provide there. I've been told they don't do abortions there, but we do occasionally get protesters there. And if you
Right.
are protesting down from my salon and we
Now,
happen to be there, feel free
is
to come in
there-
for a free cup of coffee. But
Is there a difference between protesting and like street counseling? Because I know that some guys go out, and they really do intend to engage in a meaningful conversation, not just like holding a sign and yelling things.
I think there's a big difference.
I think that there's a difference, but I think that the two usually go hand in hand. Also, I mean,
or
it's like
seen together anyway. People consider them the same thing, I suppose.
well, no. There is a difference, like protesting, holding up the signs and stuff. And then
Well, I know there's a difference.
Okay, but the point I'm trying to make is usually someone's not there or a group is not there doing just one or the other.
Okay. So you got usually it's kind of a strange mix.
So, and there's one on the south side over by my house, and that one I still see people protesting in front of it. And, one day I saw a pretty interesting scene where a guy had brought a pillow, and he put the pillow down on the ground. And he was there for hours just praying.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the most impactful thing. I mean, I thought, here's a guy that's willing to say, I'm against this by being there, and he was doing something probably one of the most profound things that one can do in that situation, which was pray.
Mhm.
And they have so many rules, and you have to be on the sidewalk, and that one, and a lot of them, and you'll see this in Des Moines a lot of them set themselves up where there's parking lots buffering between the front entrance and the so you can't really get to the people.
Or in a place where you shouldn't be, where you're not supposed to be loitering.
Yeah, they kind of make it that way. So on the south side one, there's this whole parking lot, and they have no trespassing. You have to be there for business. You cannot be there, and it's so far back because there's actually a restaurant in front of it.
Oh wow!
That you can't. It's
all private property,
Yeah,
and they can do that.
Yeah, so that's kind of an unfortunate. But at one point, I heard that they ceased doing abortions at that clinic. So that was it was a big thing in the news.
So why are they protesting that clinic then?
You know what? I think you can protest Planned Parenthood at any clinic.
Well,
I mean,
right.
You know, no matter what Planned Parenthood wants to say, and I understand because, you know, when my wife and I were young, and I don't know if she'd appreciate me telling this or not, but we're already there. When we were young, she used to buy her birth control when we first got married from there. And then we started thinking about it. Went, well, we can't do that. You know? Because you know, but we realized we were those people they were fooling.
Right, because even it's like what's the analogy I heard? It's like if someone has a criminal activity in the back and runs a legitimate front office business to fund that, you can do the business with the front office, and you're still ultimately giving money to the back office. It's like someone who's baking cookies and using that money
and
to
also
fund
you got to realize
a nuclear warhead.
That the Planned Parenthood or whatever provider is providing abortions. You know, it's more than just the people coming for the abortions. It's also the workers, you know, and if there's somebody working in an administrative office that has a conscience and they see you there willing or praying or just willing to talk and you know, not just like in an obnoxious way, but just there for the sake of speaking truth into this, I mean, it might prick their conscience. Well, the Lord might use that to turn somebody, shine light and expose the truth of the circumstance.
Well,
that's the hope.
And for Don and I, it's been pretty awkward because we've had like the abortion clinic come in and want to put stuff up. We let fundraisers typically.
At the salon.
At the salon, right? So we let people put stuff in our windows and stuff like that. And they come in and we won't. And they're like, well, everybody in the block does. And my wife is looking right in the eye and be like, I don't care if everybody in the world does. You won't be putting that here.
Right.
You know, and it's set kind of a rift, you know, to where their employees won't really talk to Don or I, which is fine because I don't know that I couldn't be anything other than I wouldn't want to be rude because when I see them walk out, all I can think is baby killer.
Yeah.
And you know, and unfortunately, they're like Don and I when we were young. There are people there that don't think that their job necessarily, you know, is the same thing or is a bad, and they haven't thought it all the way through. And, you know, and that's a sad reality that people don't think that far. And I'm, like I said, I'm kind of embarrassed that Don and I, when we first got married, that was one of those things we did. But
you know, you also repented of it and you're not doing it anymore. So why, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to judge you.
No, I'm not worried about being judged. I don't care. People can judge me all they want. They can judge by the same measure in which they're judging. So, it's fine. I'm good with that. But I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things that you go, oh, you know, as you start to think about the abortion thing, it's so pervasive in our society. And unfortunately, it's used as talking points for political outlets.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you know, I was talking to a guy the other day, and I see we're going to break. So we'll talk about it or not at break. Did you give the breaks in?
I did not. No, he saw you talking and had
right.
Hit the button.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is Rebels Cause Radio. One more break, guys. Stay with us. We'll be back.
This is Dan Fry, host of A Rebels Cause Radio, and I'm here to ask you a question. Are you tired of being marketed a second-rate product at a first-rate price? Or perhaps more importantly, do you want to wear something that shows who you are, which is a Christian, but doesn't look silly or even worse, just theologically incorrect? I want to introduce you to Wrath and Grace Clothing. They're a company that wants to provide you with clothes that you actually like, prices you can afford, and most importantly, they offer a sound biblical message that represents who you are as a Christian. From the message presented in the graphics to the fit and finish, they have made their company on first-rate designs and high-quality fabrics and inks, and offered at a price you can afford. Wrath and Grace Clothing. Their mission is to proclaim the wrath and the grace of a sovereign God, one shirt at a time. Go to wrathandgrace.com to check out all their designs. That's wrathandgrace.com.
Hey, what's wrong? Logan wants Let's Rock Elmo for his birthday, but since Steve lost his job, I don't think we can afford it. What did you do for money last year when you and John were struggling to make ends meet?
My secret? I went to Me and Mommy to Be. We sold all of Megan and Ryan's clothes and toys there. They give back the highest percentage on their items in the area, and it was so easy.
Megan's clothes? She's 15.
Yes, they can sign newborn through trendy teens. We're not struggling now, but I'm gonna keep saving and making money at Me and Mommy to Be.
Get away from us, you need old credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help, somebody save us!
Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray, we're saved! Consumer Credit, you're our hero!
Here I come to save the day. That means that Mighty Mouse is on the way.
Don't just sit there, get involved. This is a Rebels Cause Radio.
Don't just sit there, get involved. Send us money. This is a Rebels Cause Radio.
Don't send us money.
Don't send us money.
You know what? When you take over the show, you don't do the read your Bible, go to church, love Jesus, forsake the world.
Actually, I have every episode but this one.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't undo the dynamics of the show.
I haven't undone the dynamics of the show.
You're not following the liturgy.
Yeah, we have liturgy here. It is important. Okay.
He's legislating from the co-host chair.
I'm just
backseat driver.
Yes, backseat driver. That's exactly it. All right. So we were talking about abortion.
Dan, you were talking.
I was talking.
And talking.
Pick up the
John,
baton.
do you
Keep
know
running.
when you're co-host how much you talk?
Oh,
way
you guys,
too much.
you guys are like a
because
married
I try to
couple.
talk. I try talking. You interrupt me every time. I've listened to episodes on the podcast, and there have been episodes where there's literally not been a single statement I've made that hasn't been interrupted.
Okay.
Literally.
All right. So married couple, shake hands. Let's bury the hatchet.
Did you see how mad he got?
I did.
So I don't even really remember where I was at.
Okay, where I was going to go with this is how do we deal with the issue? Where do we? I mean, what do we do with it? Where do we go with it now?
What's the next step?
Well, that's a hard question because it requires action.
That's true. Don't just sit there and get involved.
Well, but that's like I was saying a while back, one of the things that got me into being the radio show host and more active on my Facebook and in seminary and stuff like that was I was thinking about abortion. I thought I should do something. And what we've chosen to do is we've chosen to talk about it quite a bit on the air, which, on one note, we reach a lot of the choir. We do, but we've also had conversations with women on the show that disagreed with us, and we backed her down pretty good to where I think she ended up hanging up on us, maybe.
Yeah, but look, that's better than nothing. I mean, there's kind of a base satisfaction to that. But
I actually am not satisfied to hang up. And that's the problem I have. I think the greatest thing for me at this point, thinking about abortion, I think more about post-abortive women than I do the abortion. Not because the abortion thing isn't a big deal, but because there's so many other people covering that, I just feel like we also need to turn some attention to the post-abortive thing.
Right. Well, the point where I was going with that before I was interrupted is that there's some, I mean, yes, we won the argument, but did we win the person? I mean, all we managed to do was not have egg on our face, but did we really accomplish anything with her?
And that's the sad part. I mean, that's the part. And see, that's where when you go, oh, we won the argument doesn't matter. It's kind of like going out with the evangelizing. It doesn't matter if you give the best precept argument in the world or the best Ray Comfort experience you can possibly give. If it doesn't reach the person, it's a sad deal. And too many people go, I smashed that guy. I got him. He couldn't answer my questions. Watch him squirm. I've seen videos. Where guys are doing great precept and they're great at it, and they have a little subtitle. Watch him squirm here. It's like this isn't funny, brother.
That's not the point.
This is sad. This is sad that this guy is rejecting the gospel. This guy is hearing the truth, can't answer it. Can't answer you. Knows you're right, and has nothing. It is a tragic thing, and that's why we're pretty selective of who we want on here. Because we do have guys, and a lot of people have criticized me for some of the guys we've had on here because they don't feel like they do a good job of that. I've met most of these guys personally and know, in fact, that their heart is for the lost and that they do grieve over the lost battles. One guy, Cy, he actually, he helps train people, and so that's part of why it comes off that way, because he's showing people, look, here's what you do when you get in this situation.
Model.
And people go, oh, look at him, he's boasting. He's like, oh, you got him on the run. He's like, no, he's trying to train people how to get them on the run. It's not a happy moment for Cy when somebody is rejecting the gospel.
Well, and there's even people who and I'm kind of speaking to myself here because I found myself in this situation where in a neutral setting, they have a heart for the lost. They're pricked, they're pricked over the lost, and all they want to do is see people come to the Lord, right? But then when they get into the thick of it with people, it becomes kind of that war, that argument.
Well, it's easy to do. Remember when I hung up on the atheist? You get mad. You guys are rejecting your God, and you.
Well, I've had like 20-page long email discussions with a couple friends of mine, and all that came of it is I won the argument. I didn't convert. No one was converted. I won the argument. I didn't have egg in my face. But the only fruit that I've seen from that is these guys really seem to respect me, but they're still waging war against God. You know what I mean? And now we've talked. I mean, all I have with these guys is at this point I've already said everything I need to say. All I am now is a Christian witness to these guys. I'm not like them. I'm not doing the things they're doing.
Sometimes that's enough, though.
But when we talk, all we have in common to talk about is just worldly stuff. Like I go to this guy's party once a year, and he has a lot of craft beers, and we can talk about that. But all I did is win.
Are we going any more time? Or are we done?
I think we've. I mean, do you want to keep going? I think I'm okay either way. We can keep going. We can stop.
We can wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think that we're fine.
Well, I hear the music.
We can kind of keep it tight. I mean, we had a good conversation about abortion, and
yeah. All right. Well, this is Rebels Cause Radio. We're only going to do an hour tonight. Thank you for joining us. Come and see us again in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, as Dan always says, we ask you to read your Bibles, to love Jesus, to go to church, and to forsake the world. This is Rebels Cause Radio.